Good afternoon, everyone. We are Group 6 reporting about Understanding Production and Operations Management. Pero bago po tayo mag-start, let's have a short prayer and we'll be led by Mr. Chavez.
Good evening, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we came to you today in prayer, asking for guidance and wisdom as we begin this online class. Help us to stay focused and attentive as we learn and grow together. Give us strength to stay motivated and the courage to ask questions when needed. We thank you for the opportunity to learn and grow in knowledge. May our minds be open to new ideas and our hearts be filled with understanding. In Jesus' name, Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. So, ayan, next slide. So, after prayer, we'll be having a icebreaker and ang concept po namin ay 4-pick guess the words, which magbibigay po kami ng 4 pictures and jumbled letters. Huhulaan nyo kung ano yung word na nagde-describe sa picture. Ayan. Mr. Magbanwa, you can start na po.
Yeah. So our play is first we guess the word. So who wants to guess the number one? May I call on sorry, number Mr. Baltasar for guessing the number one.
Operation.
Yes. Next slide po. Yes, that's correct. For number two, who wants to guess? Miss Velasper, kindly answer the word.
Value analysis.
Correct. For number three, would you like to answer the number three, Mr. Ramosa? Mr. Ramosa, would you
No
like to
idea po.
Mr. Ramosa, kindly answer the question, the
Wala
word.
po akong idea.
Okay. How about you, Mr. Chris, Mark Chris? Do you know the answer?
Waiting in line management or waiting
Correct.
line management. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Next slide po for number four. Would you like to answer Mr. Saliwan for the number four?
Facility layout.
Yes, correct. And for lastly, for our last icebreaker, number five, who wants to guess? Would you like to redeem yourself, Mr. Ramosa? To guess the answer, Mr. Ramosa?
On-demand management po. Sorry sa ano po, sa connection po mahina.
Oh, it's okay. So next one. Yes, that is on-demand management. And that's the end of our icebreaker. Let's proceed for aming topic. Next po.
Thank you, Mr. Magbanwa. And this will be the content of our report. So, next slide, please. Ayan. So, guys, sa tingin nyo, ano kaya yung essence ng pagbibusiness ng tao? So, dito matututunan natin paano nga ba makakatulong ang iba't ibang concept ng production and operation management sa mga business. So, the first topic will be report by Mr. Ramosa. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Okay, naririnig po ba ako ng clear?
Yes,
Yes.
clear po.
Okay. Okay. So, operation policy and management strategy po, it is very important for an organization to have well-defined objective. Siyempre, pagdating po sa sa isang operation, kailangan po talaga natin ng isang objective kasi hindi po tatakbo o hindi po dadaloy ang isang operation pag wala pong objective. Kasi pag walang objective, walang patutunguhan yung isang operation. Next is yung operation strategy. Operational strategy, it is a system that helps a company achieve its long-term goals and mission by managing its resources and processes to produce and deliver products or services. So ayun nga, isa siyang system no para sa isang sa isang goal or mission na tumutulong sa pagmamanage ng mga resources tsaka mag-produce ng mga products or services. Hindi lamang siya pinoproduce, dinideliver din siya. Yun yung operational strategy. Next po. Ayan. Operational strategy is planning process which align the following. Ayan po sila. Una, organizational goal. From the word itself, no, maintindihan naman natin siya. Kailangan ng goal. From the word goal ng isang organization. So, bago tayo gumawa ng isang operation strategy, kailangan mo na meron tayong goal pagdating sa organization. Next, sa business. Next, sa product and service. Next naman is yung SWOT analysis, no? Yung SWOT analysis na tinatawag nating strategic planning or strategic management technique, no? Ginagamit natin siya para malaman natin yung kalakasan, kahinaan, opportunity o kaya yung yung magiging threat sa isang company natin. Sinasabi din dito, a regular SWOT analysis ensures that the organization is able to maintain competitive advantage and business leadership. So, pag nagawa natin ang ang SWOT analysis na to at ma-include po ang ang tatlo nating goal, makakagawa na po tayo ng operation strategy. Next slide po. Ayan. Strategic management process for production operation. No? Dito po para maging successful yung strategic objective natin, kailangan natin ng strategic planning. No? Yung una is yung competition analysis. Dito sa competition analysis, una, mag-i-evaluate tayo, tsaka pag-iisa din natin yung mga current competition natin sa market, tsaka yung mga policy nila or yung practices na ginagawa nila, na sinusunod nila sa kanilang industriya dating sa operation tsaka production. Next naman, yung goal setting, no? Para magkaroon tayo ng pinakatumbok na objective, kailangan natin ng goal setting. Kailangan natin mag-generalize, no? From specific na goal, yun yung kukunin natin para ma-generalize natin kung ano yung pinaka-objective natin. Next naman yung strategy formulation. Pagkatapos natin magkaroon ng competition analysis, magkaroon ng goal setting, next yung strategy formulation. Gagawa tayo ng strategy na or yung plan para maisakatuparan natin yung mga goal natin, tsaka yung mga comparison natin pagdating sa sa competition analysis. Next yung implementation. This is the final step to convert the operation and production strategies into day-to-day activities like production schedule, product design, tsaka quality management. Next slide po. Tsaka by the way, kailangan po magkakasunod-sunod yung apat na yon, hindi po kailangan maglalaktaw-laktaw yung yung process kasi yung process na yon kailangan chronological po siya. Next is ito naman tayo sa next topic. Yung International Product and Operation Management. International Production and Operation Management deals with the product of goods and services internationally, no? Sa mga market international. It involves yung management process, no? Hindi lang siya pang local, kundi pang buong bansa o kaya pang ibang bansa, no? Next slide po. Ayun, nature ng IPOM or International Production and Operation Management, no? Wala pong kaibahan pagdating sa nature, no? Walang kaibahan ang international production pagdating sa domestic production. Pero meron silang meron silang kaibahan pagdating sa sa pagkaroon ng exposure, no? Kasi pag sinabing domestic, they are focusing on local markets, no? Local production. While pagdating naman sa international, no? From the word international, so it's from outside na, no? Not only from local, pero lumalabas siya sa sa iba't ibang lugar. This is the unang difference, no, ng IPOM, no. Unang difference is international business environment were not just economic but also international quality standard to be maintained. So, pag international production is kailangan may maintain na standard or quality standard, which is yung international. One of the example is yung ISO. Yung ISO po, yung pinaka pinaka-standard talaga worldwide. Yun po. Kailangan ma-maintain nila yun. Yung lahat ng mga quality standard na yun. Next naman is yung international stints make the company more aware of its surrounding, thus making it more competitive. Mas aware ang international production pagdating sa mga kahinaan nila. Kasi pag international ka, kailangan hindi magkakaroon ng butas or hindi magkakaroon ng malaking weakness ang isang production. Kailangan talaga maghahanap kayo ng paraan para yung butas na yun is maging dahilan ng pagkabagsak ng isang production or isang operation. Next slide po. Ito po yung strategic objectives, no, pagdating sa IPOM. Una, meeting international quality standard, forecasting demand and production design, sunod profitability, sunod minimum production cost, and last po yung adaptation to modern available technology. Next po, ito po yung mga challenges, no, ng POM at saka IPOM. Pagdating sa culture, domestic has to contend with homogeneous culture, whereas IPOM has to contend with multicultural, multi-ethnicity scenario. Next, yung business environment. Domestic POM has to consider local economical and social factors, whereas IPOM has to deal with economical and social factors across geography and countries. Quality standards naman, domestic foam has to look at single local market, therefore not much variation in quality standard. Whereas IFOAM has to consider different international markets with different quality standard requirements. Pricing naman, sa pricing for domestic foam may not be a challenge as competition would also operate in the same environment. But the iFoam has to consider the customer paying capacity which may vary from developed country to developing country. Next is yung technology. In domestic environment, innovation and usage of technology is much more comparable among competition. For iPhone naman, owing to different quality and pricing requirements, investment in technology becomes important. Economies of scale, domestic foam has to deal with limited local market, hence limiting scope of economies of scale, whereas iPhone has to access to larger market, thus providing a change of achieving larger economies of scale. Next, yung market segmentation. Domestic foam is around local market, whereas iPhone has to develop and diversified market. Usage of resources, domestic has to deal within flexibility of moving around the resources within one location, while iPhone has advantage of moving around of resources from high cost to low cost market. So yung ano lang po nila, yung mga challenges lang po nila, nagkakaiba lang po pagdating sa ano, sa location. Kasi yung foam, yung domestic foam, nakafocus lang siya sa local. While yung ano, yung pinakamaraming challenges is yung sa international. Kasi hindi lang siya naka-focus sa isang local, kundi sa mga karatig location na ano, na merong operation. Next. Ayun. Ito po yung mga iPhone strategy. Una sa production factory location, the choice of location for the production facility depends on its proximity near to the market and cost of production or labor in the particular environment. Ito. Next naman is yung factory design, layout, and quality standard. Organization need to standardize design and layout across their production location as to minimize production planning process, provide flexibility in sharing technical knowledge and manpower. External vendor and procurement. Organization needs to finalize the vendors to provide raw material as well as important components required to complete the final product. Also, procurement schedule has to be finalized as not to hurt production. As you can see po sa iPhone strategies, hindi ko na po siya i-explain ng malalim kasi yung mga definition niya naman po is clear naman. Pag nabasa niyo po siya, magigets niyo na po yung point yung iPhone strategy. Next po. Yun. Managing technology in operation management. Dito po, since nasa na tayo, nasa technology, na tayo, technology based na na world na. So, pagdating sa operation and management, nai-include na natin, nai-include na natin yung mga pagmamanage pagdating sa technology. Pagdating sa technology. Kasi, para malesen din po yung labor at saka mas maging efficient po ang operation at saka production ng isang organization, business, or a company. So, technology and operation management, yung scope po ng technology and operation management has evolved over a period of time and has moved from development of product into design, management, and improvement of operating system and processes. Next slide po. Yun. Integration of technology with production system. Una, itong technology acquisition. Technology acquired should align with overall objectives of the organization and should be approved after elaborate cost benefits analysis. Yung mga technology na na-acquired natin or yung parang hinahanap natin, kailangan magiging align siya doon sa production ng isang organization. Like for example, anong uring production ang for example, film production. Siyempre, yung mga technology na gagamitin natin doon, kailangan related sa film. Pagdating naman sa mga food production, kailangan yung mga technology or machine natin is related din dun sa field na yan, sa food. No? Next naman is yung technology integration. Technology affects all the aspects of production, capital, labor, and customer. Therefore, a solid technology integration plan is required. So, from the word itself, technology integration, since human and machine intervention is needed dito, no? Kasi nakakaapekto siya sa pagdating sa labor at sa capital at sa customer. So merong interaction ang technology tsaka ang human. Ang siniserve nun is ang human ino-operate yung technology para magkaroon ng isang production. Yun yung pagdating sa technology integration. Kaya kailangan pagdating sa technology integration, kailangan may kaalaman yung isang gumagamit. Hindi lang basta-basta. Kailangan meron siyang skills or idea or knowledge pagdating dun sa technology na gagamitin pagdating sa production. Yun yung technology integration. Sunod naman, technology verification. So pag bibili ka ng technology, no, kailangan bago ka bumili, chine-check mo siya, no? Para nakasok ba siya sa standard? Kasi pag hindi pasok sa standard yung isang technology na ginamit mo sa isang production, magkakaroon to ng bad effect. Magkakaroon siya ng substandard. Like for example, pagdating sa sa food, no? Pag hindi maganda yung machine na binili mo or yung anything na technology na binili mo related sa food, sometimes mabilis masira yung machine or sometimes hindi pulido yung pagkaka-operate. Like for example, mayroon pang mga dumi-dumi na nadadala, hindi nasasala, ganun. Yung kailangan mo na i-verify. Next naman po, ito po yung technology in manufacturing and design. Ito po yung mga ginagamit. Common naman to sa inyo guys, di ba? Kasi ito talaga yung mga useful na ginagamit pagdating sa mga design, sa mga plannings, pagdating sa sa production or on layouting, gano'n. Ito yung mga una is yung computer-aided design. Computer-aided design or CAD, it is a facilities linking of two or more complex components of design at a very high level of accuracy, thus delivering higher productivity. Sunod naman yung computer-aided manufacturing system. Precision is very essential in operating any machines, and therefore computerized, numerically controlled machines are used, thus ensuring highest level of accuracy. Ito naman sa exchange of product data, as the name suggests, product design is transmitted among dito dalawa na yung CAD tsaka yung CAM yung ginagamit in 3 dimension. In standard for the exchange of product data process, sharing of product across all phases of product life cycle and serve as mutual file exchange. Next po. Ayun. Ito po yung software system in manufacturing. Yung enterprise resource planning, supply chain management, new product development, customer relationship management. Ayan po sila. Natakad naman na po natin yung iba dyan. So, may intindihan po natin kung ano yung mga software system in manufacturing. Next naman yung automation and production and operation. Ito yung reduces manual intervention in the manufacturing process. It increases productivity and reduces margin of errors, thereby facilitating economies of scale. There is this advantage of automation also, such as unemployment, high breakdown cost, and initial capital investment. Therefore, automation may not be suitable in all situations, and in the end, alignment with an overall organization objective is important. Ayun lang po. Next po.
Next is value analysis. Wala. Value analysis is a systematic and structured approach that organization use to improve the value of their product, services, or process. Pag sinabing value analysis, isa siyang approach to improve the value of product or process and minimizing its cost. It is a tool that enables businesses to identify and eliminate inefficiencies, reduce cost, enhance quality, and drive innovation. In a rapidly changing global market value, analysis has a crucial component of maintaining competitive business and sustainability. Due to global market, changing global market, ang value analysis, gumagamit ng mas creative and analytical techniques para ma-maintain yung pagiging competitive at saka sustainability ng isang business sa market. Next is objective and benefits of value analysis. First is to simplify products and process and to increase the efficiency. Number two, enables people to contribute to the value addition process by continuous focus on product design and services. Number three, provides a structure through cost saving initiative, reduction, and continuous improvement. Providing a structure and to create solutions cost effectively and to increase the performance of product that satisfies the customer's needs. Value analysis, ito yung mga activities ng value analysis. Una is product or service. First is to identify the product or service based dun sa usage and demand. Pati yung complexity ng product for possible improvement. Number two is cost analysis. Pag sinabing cost analysis, dito naman, alam mo yung cost, dapat alam mo yung cost ng product, kung paano ito ginagawa, yung procedure ng paggagawa, at para magkaroon ka ng idea on how to develop the product. Number three, define product and function. dapat alam mo yung primary function ng product or purpose nito uh, to satisfy the needs of a customer. Number four, evaluation on alternatives. Dito naman, through brainstorming with your team, makaka-generate kayo ng ideas, bagong ideas, and alternative which lead to primary function of a product. Then, yung ideas na yun, evaluate nyo, yung pinaka-cheapest, yun na yung pipiliin nyo. Level 5 is secondary function and evaluation. Dito naman, yung secondary function naman ng product, evaluate nyo, identify nyo yung possible risk, and then pipiliin nyo yung pinaka most relevant idea. Number 6 is recommendation. Dito may result na kayo sa value analysis. Gagawin na lang, po-proceed na sa recommendation with the owner. Kailangan lang i-present yung idea na to improve the product or service. Value analysis team. Value analysis team carried out the process of the value analysis. Value analysis team, yung mga member nito dapat may background and knowledgeable about dun sa project or sa product na gagawin. The team consists of 5 to 8 members. Effective product design. It's not an effective product design. It is offering a product or service that meets the customer needs by creating a product that look good and work well, while will give a company an edge sa mga competitors. Features of good product design. Number one is utility. The product design should make us per expectation of customer and provides steady performance through the product life. The product design must have a steady performance at pangmatagalan, hindi lang siya yung pang-umpisa lang. Number two is aesthetics. The product aesthetic is important in success of the product. The product aesthetic is dependent on market and customer. Dapat maayos yung product at presentable. Number three is producible. Product design should enable effective production or product through available production methods. The product design must be producible daw. It should be available on production process. Number four is profitability. The product design should make economic sense as to deliver value to customer and sustainability to the organization. Number five, differentiable. A good product design should enable product to be differentiated among its competition. The product design must be unique. Dapat maayos at attractive yung packaging nito. Objective of product design. Product design aims to satisfy customers and optimize value while minimizing cost, meeting the primary needs and desires, often through enhancement rather than new developments. Kadalasan, yung sa mga product design, enhancement lang yung ginagawa sa mga existing products. Hindi sila kailangan mag-develop ng new product. Effective product design. Stages of production design. First stage, brainstorming. It involves brainstorming, bringing ideas, and analysis of customer and market feedback. Dito, brainstorming lang with your team to generate new ideas. Number two, second stage is idea is converted into feasible solution to satisfy the customer expectation using available resources and technology. Dito, yung idea, co-convert na siya sa feasible solution using mga available resources and technology dun sa production. Third stage, this is the last stage, which the product is introduced in the market. This dito sa stage na to, yung product design, introduce na siya sa market. If it, factors affecting production, factors affecting product design. Number one is correct team selection. Dito dapat yung pipiliin mong team yung mga knowledgeable na doon sa doon sa product. Number two is customer involvement. Involvement of customer in product design and testing can provide insight to the direction of the project. Importante din yung involvement ng customer para alam mo yung preferences ng mga na needs ng customer at magkaroon ka ng insight para sa gagawing product design. Number three, prototyping and testing. Dapat mag-create ng prototype ng design para matest with the customer. Sa pagkakaroon kasi ng prototype, mas madali makita yung kailangang ayusin bago ito i-release, bago i-release yung product. Number four is raw materials. Dapat yung raw materials na gagamitin ay mamimit yung quality standard ng product. Dapat siguraduhin continuous at cost-effective ang supply nito. Number five, product method and process layout. Dito dapat maayos ang production method at process layout before ito i-produce. Number external factor. The product design must be flexible. Walang nababiolate na government and environmental regulations. Process design and analysis. Process design is where the product is broken down into parts which further can be helpful in the actual manufacturing process. Process design, kailangan ito the process design is where the product is broken down into parts para ma-analyze ang workflow ng production process. So, identify inefficiencies to ensure the smooth and continuous relationship between the required output or product with its intermediate process, yung mga process. Number, next page. Process development for process designs can be summarized through the following steps. Number one is process requirements. Dito sa first step na to, kailangan nyo to define and gather information, documentation, and assessment of available technology, the plant layout, and the raw materials na gagamitin sa production. Number two is team building. After ma-finalize and process requirement for each objective, a team will familiarize and understand the whole process of production, planning and implementation. Dito naman, planning and implementation, a team will proceed to planning stage sa pag-develop ng module, policies, and procedure para magkaroon ng structure ang production process. Then it must be approved by internal and external approver bago ito ipa-implement. Number four is audit. After ng implementation, dapat regular yung audit para ma-ensure yung process is inline pa rin doon sa product requirements. Number five is end of life. Over a period of time, may mga circumstances minsan na-stop yung pag-produce ng product. So, yung dinevelop na process design is also stuck. Production process. The production process of manufacturing and services industry is classified into broad categories. Una, continuous production. Pag sinabing continuous production, the production is uninterrupted to produce consistent delivery of goods. Ito ang ginagamit if the business ay need to produce a large volume of products. Ang pangalawa naman is intermittent production. Tinatawag din itong umbrella in manufacturing process. Dito, irregular ang production schedule. And create different products using only one production line. Kadalasan ito ginagamit in low volume or yung mas customized production. Process design. A successful process design has to take into account the appropriateness of the process to overall organization of the system. In order to achieve a good process design, effective process strategy is required, which deals a singular line item required to manufacture and end product. Effective process strategy deals with raw materials procurement and customer participation, technology investment, etc. To achieve the good process design, uh, dapat inline yung mga supply ng raw materials, merong din customer participation for insight or references and investment of technology na kailangan for the production. Next reporter po.
Ayan. What is Integrated Product and Process Development or IPPD? Ito po yung concept na kung saan lahat po ng idea ng iba't ibang department or stakeholders ay pinagsasama para makagawa or mas mapaganda yung produkto. So, next slide po. So, ano nga ba yung mga advantages ng concept na ito? Una is yung reduction in product delivery time, minimization of production cost, reduction in risk of product and design failure, improved quality of the product. Next slide po. Next is the key factor ng IPPD. Una is yung agreement on the end objective, meaning dapat lahat ng stakeholders ay nag-agree sa isang objective dahil ito yung pinagbabasihan para ma-address yung customer satisfaction or requirements. Next is building up of plan, implementation of plan, and constant review of implemented plan. Dito, nagre-require ng maingat na paggawa at pagpapatupad ng plano para ma-monitor yung continuous na possible adjustment sa paggawa ng product. Number 3 is yung usage of modern tools and system. Kasama ito dahil essential ang paggamit ng modern tool and updated system sa business para ma-maintain yung competitiveness and also mabilis ma-adapt yung pagbabago sa market demand. Last is yung investment in human capital. Itong pang-apat na ito is napaka-importante dahil ang mga businesses ay obviously need ng manpower or skilled workers. Next slide po. Next is facility location. Facility location is the right location for the manufacturing facility. Facility location is another concept sa production and operations management dahil malaki ang impact nito sa kahit anong business. Kaya nito maka-affect sa mga aspect like access sa customer, employees, and transportation. Facility location determination is a business critical strategic decision dahil may mga factors din para malaman ang location ng facility. For example, competitor, Meron kasing business or company na pumipili ng location kung saan wala masyadong kakompetensya. Next slide po. Yan. Location selection factor. Sabi ko nga kanina, malaki ang impact ng facility location selection sa mga aspect like access sa customer, workers, at transportation. Next is industrialization. In short, kapag ang lugar ay may right material or sapat na skilled workers, is kaya nitong malaman or ma-visualize na okay yung itatayong building doon. Yan. Secondary factors are available of credit finance, communication, infrastructure, and insurance. Dapat isipin mo din yung kung saan mabilis ka makakakuha ng loan or financial help, and much better if may maia-apply mo siya ng insurance. Next is error in location selection. Sinabi dito na may dalawang uri ng error sa pagpili ng facility location. Una na dito ang behavioral error, meaning nanggaling ito sa attitude or behavior ng tao, for example, biases, dahil sa personal preference. Meron din tinatawag na overconfidence or yung groupthink, or maisipan lang ng grupo is igagrab na agad. Pangalawang error is yung non-behavioral errors. Ito yung opposite ng behavioral error. For example, group market analysis, infrastructure issues, or legal regulatory risk, and economic instability. Next slide po. Location strategy. Ang goal po kasi dito is makuha yung customer satisfaction within that area while maintaining the locus. Para po ma-achieve yun po yung tinatawag na location strategy. Ang purpose naman nito is malaman yung mga demand sa iba't ibang areas and also mahanap yung best spot for manufacturing. Next slide po. Ayan. If the organization can configure the right location for the manufacturing facility, ito po yung mga advantages. Una is yung customer proximity. If may easy access ka sa customer, mare-reduce yung transportational expense and time. Next is business area. If may manufacturing nearby, possible na mas ma-visualize mo yung outcome within that area. Number 3 is availability of the skilled labors. Education and experience is important dahil nakakatulong ito para mas maging productive ang company. Number 4 is yung free trade zone or yung agreement. Incentive ito toward trades natin to other countries. 5 is yung suppliers. Kapag ang facility ay malapit sa suppliers, mare-reduce nito yung time and mai-improve nito yung supply chain management. Lastly, yung environmental policy. Pagsaset ng action or regulation para maprotektahan yung environment sa loob ng company. Next slide po. Ayan. Next is facility layout. Sa isang organization, para maging effective and efficient ang manufacturing facility, kailangan din po nating pagtuunan ng pansin ang facility layout. Sabi din dito, ang main objective ng facility layout planning is maka-design ng effective na workflow and para maging productive yung equipment and employees sa isang facility. Yan. Next slide po. Ayan. So, hindi ko na po babasahin pero ang another objective ng facility layout is makita yung relationship ng raw materials, equipment, and manpower sa loob ng company. So, ito yung mga example niya. To increase production capacity of the organization, to promote safety of plant as well as its workers, to reduce movements of workers, raw materials, and equipment. Next slide po. Ayan. An organization can achieve the above mentioned by objective by ensuring the following. Itong apat na ito, same lang naman dahil pinapalabas dito na dapat maset ng maayos yung mga objective for effective and efficient production. Next slide po. Ayan. A- Ayan. So, na-explain ko na yung factors affecting facility layout kanina. So, dito na tayo sa design. Design of facility layout. So, ayan. There are three techniques of design layout and they are as follows. Una is yung flexibility. Dahil facility should provide flexibility for expansion and modification. Next is space utilization. Dahil nakaka-reduce ito ng time consumption and movements of people. And nagpo-promote din ito ng safety sa isang facility. Lastly is yung capital. Dapat minimal lang ang capital investment natin kapag nagpa-finalize ng facility layout. So, next slide po. Ayan. So, facility layout techniques. So, meron tayong example ng ng design layout techniques. Una na dito is yung 2 or 3-dimensional template like floor plan, blueprint, and stencil template. Next is sequence analysis. Means ito yung nag-aayos ng mga activities in a specific order para ma-optimize yung workflow. Last is yung line balancing. Ito yung kung saan lahat ng task is hinahati sa mga employee or workstation para po maging balance yung workload. Last is yung type of facility layout. So ito yung mga example ng types of facility layout. Line layout, functional layout, fixed position layout, cellular technology layout, combined layout, and computerized relative allocation of facility techniques. So, yun lamang po. Next reporter po.
So, demand forecasting. Forecasting for an organized to provide customer delight is important to the organization can understand what customer wants and how much they want. If an organization can gauge future demand, that manufacturing plan becomes simpler and cost effective. So, ano nga ba yung forecasting? Forecasting is a process or prediction to analyze the trend of production or a product. So, for example, dito yung mga establishment, yung katulad ng mga bakery or mga uh, coffee shop, like sa coffee shop. For example, na-predict na nila na yung production nila is 150 a day na tinapay. So, that day, hindi siya naubos. May 50 na hindi na benta. So, ang gagawin nila to avoid the discrepancy, yung kakulangan ng kanilang sales ay gagawin nilang proseso ay the closing price of the stock each day. Kumbaga, ilelesen nila yung price nung pinaka original price into half. Parang bababaan nila yung kanilang presyo para mas mabenta o maubos yung kanilang prinidik na production na kanilang tinapay. So, ano nga ba ang business objective of forecasting? The bare objective of a business forecasting to be accurate as possible so that the planning of resources can be done in every economical manner and therefore propagate optimum utilization of resources. Next slide po. So, there have three classification of business forecasting. Number one is economic forecasting. Economic forecasting, this forecasting and related to the broader macro and microeconomic factors prevailing in the current business environment. So ano ba yung yung microeconomics? Microeconomics studies the decision of individual and firms to allocate resources of production and exchanging and consumption. So, yung macro naman, it's a branch of economics that deals with the performance, instruction, behavior, and decision making of an economic as a whole. So, ano ba yung mga example ng economic forecasting? Number one dun yung inflation. So, paano nga ba nagkakaroon ng inflation? Nagkakaroon ng inflation dahil sa low production ng isang item or ng product. Yung katulad nung ano, 'di ba naranasan natin yon yung pagmahal ng sibuyas. So, kaya nagmahal yung sibuyas, maybe the factor is low yung production niya or mababa yung production niya. Kaya nagmahal ang isang produkto. Number two is yung weather na kung saan, 'di ba, yung sibuyas is na-harvest siya sa tag-araw. Umulan. So, mapipilitan silang i-harvest yung kanilang ano, onion para hindi masayang kasi pag nabasa yun, watery ang ano, ang sibuyas. So, masasayang lang siya. So, mas maganda na i-harvest nila ng maaga kaysa masayang yung kanilang ano, tinanim. So, the next one is the demand forecast. Demand forecasting organization conduct analysis on its pre-existing database or conduct market survey as to understand and predict future demands. So, dito naman, for example, yung ano, yung sigarilyo. Sa market, nag-range ang presyo ng sigarilyo to 200, 250, and 300 per kaha. Per kaha. So, in the next, in January, February, March, and April, kung ano yung pinaka-demand na presyo, ayun yung susundin nila. Halimbawa, dun sa 5 buwan na yon, yun yung pinaka in demand na presyo, 250, ayun yung susundin sa market na kung saan yun yung pinaka susundin nilang presyo. Depende sa condition ng market. So, number 3 is technology forecast. Technology forecast, this is a type of forecast. It's used to forecast future technology upgradation. So dito naman, mas madali or accurate yung pag-input ng kanilang data na kung saan hindi na sila magkakaroon ng pagkakamali or mas accurate na yung data nila kasi dahil sa technology upgradation. So next slide po. So demand forecasting, there have timeline of a business forecasting. Number one is the long-term forecast. The long-term forecast, this type of forecast is made for a time frame for more than 3 years. For this, are you utilized for term strategic planning in terms of capacity planning and expansion planning. Dito naman, ang pinaka-example dito is mga establishment na gagawin nila ng isang organization. Kasi, bakit 3 years yung kanilang prediction? Kasi malawakang operasyon yun na kung saan inaabot talaga siya ng 3 years to maximize their operation. So number 2, midterm forecast. In the midterm forecast, this type of forecast is made for a time frame for more than 3 months to 3 years. These are utilized production and layout planning, sales planning and marketing planning, capital and budget planning. Na kung saan naman ito naman yung pinagtutuunan nila ng pansin yung pinaka-cost nung isang operasyon ng gagawin nilang operasyon ng isang organisasyon. Number 3 is short-term forecast. Dito naman sa short-term forecast, this type of forecast is made for a time frame of more than 1 day to 3 months. Short-term forecasts are utilized for day-to-day producting planning, inventory planning, and workforce application planning. Ayun po. Kumbaga, mabilisan lang po siya. So, next slide po, please. So, ayan. So, nabanggit ko na yung forecast method. So, next slide po tayo. So, ayan. Astrologers and think tanks, on a lighter vein, many of us have seen way in which astrologers have become quite popular in recent times of individual anxious to know what the future holds for them. And also, we have also can seen countless firms turning to management consult, consulta, consultancies and experts to help them navigate the future. So next slide po. So why forecasting has become very difficult for individual firms and nation. For number one, it's globalization and localization. For this, it has made the world integrated and interconnected to the extent that what happened in one part of the globe has impact of the parts of the world. Dito naman po, ang example ko po dito yung cellphone. 'Di ba po nag-umpisa ang cellphone sa keypad, yung dipindot po na cellphone. So, dahil po sa upgradation ng technology, mas mabilis po nag-upgrade yung cellphone na kung saan lahat po tayo is naka-access na dun sa mga cellphone noon at cellphone ngayon na kung saan ano na siya, mas upgrade siya. Like yung Apple po, 'di ba? Monthly or yearly po naglalabas ng new unit. Unlike before, matagal maglabas. Kasi ngayon, mas mabilis na yung technology, kumbaga mas upgraded na siya. So, next one is accelerating technology. Technology has accelerated the world so much that real-time responses are needed to the fluid in ever-changing world events. Ayan. Katulad nga po ng sinabi ko kanina, napakabilis or napakabilis ng teknolohiya na kung saan may iba't ibang ginagawa ng ating bansa or yung ibang bansa, like yung robotics. Sa atin, sa bansa natin, nasa ano pa lang tayo, nasa wheels. Yung ibang bansa mas upgraded sila or mas advanced yung kanilang technology na kung saan nakakagawa na sila ng robotic services. Alam niyo yun, yung parang robot na or technology na yung nagsiserve dun sa ano, lalo na sa mga fast food. Robot na yung nagsiserve sa mga tao. Hindi na tao, robot na. Kasi advanced na yung kanilang technology na ginagamit. So, number 3, we need a new approach to risk. Dito naman is to measure the risk since the existing model are outdated and not serving the purpose for which they are not intended. Ayan. Kailangan natin mas pagtuunan ng pansin yung yung ngayon, yung kasalukuyan na teknolohiya unlike before kasi mas outdated na siya. Kumbaga hindi na siya hindi na siya patok. Unlike ngayon, napakaganda na ng teknolohiya ngayon kasi mabilis na tayo maka-access. Yung communication natin hindi na kailangan hindi na tayo mag-load. Ano na lang through to Messenger or Facebook, lahat tayo ibang bansa pa yan or gano'n. So, last one, hear the signal, taking and separate the signal from the noise. This is not longer enough to focus only on the global or the local alone. And one must have a border vision na kung saan hindi lang tayo magpo-focus dun sa lugar natin. Kailangan may vision tayo around the world na kung saan ano yung nagiging ganap, ano yung nagiging takbo ng ekonomiya para makasabay tayo. Hindi lang tayo magpo-focus sa lugar natin. So, ayun po. Next slide po. So, ayan. The capacity planning, the production system design, planning consider input requirements, conversion, process, and output. After considering the forecast and long-term planning, organization should be undertake capacity planning. Then the second one is strategic capacity planning, a technique used to identify and measure overall capacity of production is referred to as strategic capacity planning. Strategic capacity planning it is used for capital intensive resources like plant, machinery, and labor. Next slide po. So for the capacity planning, there has three classification of capacity planning. Number one is long-term capacity. Long-term capacity is a long-range capacity of an organization. It is depend on various other capacities like design capacity, production, sustainable, and effective capacity. So, ayan. Yung kapasidad ng isang organisasyon na ginagamit. Like kanina nabanggit, di ba? The machineries. Ayan. Ayan yung mga heavy equipment or machine. So, number two is a medium-term capacity. For the medium-term capacity, the strategic capacity planning undertaken by organization for 2 to 3 years for a time frame. It's referred to as a medium-term capacity. So, ayan. Dito naman is yung kakayahan or yung strategy na gagawin nila na mas mapatibay yung pundasyon or structure ng kanilang gagawing uh, uh, establishment dun sa organisasyon nga na nasabi. So, number three is a short-term capacity. For short-term capacity, the strategic planning undertaken by organization for a daily or a weekly or quarterly time frame, it's related to a short-term capacity planning. Ito naman is tumutukoy siya sa sa mga mabibilis na operasyon nila na kung saan weekly or quarterly lang siya natatapos. Ayun. So, next slide po. Next slide po. So, the goal of capacity planning is the ultimate goal of capacity planning is to meet the current of the future level of the requirement at the minimal wastage. The three types of capacity planning based on the goal are lead capacity planning, log strategy planning, and match strategy planning. For the second one, factor affecting capacity planning. For this, effective capacity planning is dependent upon factor like production facility, layout, design, and location, product line or matrix production, technology, human capital, like job design, compensation, operational structure. For that, scheduling, quality assurance, and external instruction like policy, safety, and regulation. So, next slide po. So, for forecast capacity planning, there have three. As you can see, there are three bullet, which is, for example, there could be scenario where demand is more than production capacity. In this situation, a company needs to fulfill the requirements by buying from outside. Ayan. Dito naman, yung kapasidad ng ating ginagamit sa mga establishment na ginagawa ng isang organization is dapat ma ma masigurado nila na maganda ang quality nung kapasidad nung gagamitin for building a structure of establishment. For the second, if the if demand is equal to production capacity, company is in a position to use its production capacity to the fullest. Kumbaga, hindi nila titipirin yung kanilang production capacity. Kumbaga, ibibigay nila yung best nila para mas mapaganda or mas mapatibay ang kanilang establishment na gagawin. So, lastly, if the demand is less than the production capacity, the company can choose the reduce the production of share in output with other manufacturers. So, ayun po. Next slide po. Ayan. Next reporter po, please.
Hello everyone, I'm going to report the production planning and control. Yung production planning and control is yun yung nag-acknowledge ng fundamental na problema in terms of low productivity, inventory management, and resources utilization. Yung production planning ay kinakailangan ng scheduling dispatch sa mga inspection, ng mga quality management, at mga inventory management, saka sa equipment management. Sa tulong ng production planning ay mas mauunawaan natin ang maayos na process ng mga production, starting sa kinakailangan na materials at kagamitan hanggang sa pagkakasunod-sunod ng gagawin. Ang production control naman ay yung sinisigurado na ang production team ay ma-achieve yung production target and ma-utilize ang resources, yung quality management at yung saving cost. Sa pamamagitan nito, may iwasan ng mga aberya at pagkakamali sa ginagawa. In overall, production control and management ay mahalaga para masiguradong masunod ang plano para sa success ng isang negosyo. Next slide po. May mga benefits ang production planning and control. Una na dito is yung sinisigurado nito na ma-achieve yung goal ng isang company by preparing scheduling ng mga machinery para mabawasan ang production time at para hindi natin ma-overuse. Kasi nga, syempre, may buhay din ang mga machinery. So, syempre, kinakailangan nito magpahinga. So, by this production planning and control, mapapanatili nito at mas mapapahaba pa ang buhay ng isang machinery. Pangalawa is yung sinisigurado rin ng production planning and control na ma-maintain ang inventory every time para hindi magkaroon ng overstocking or understocking. Kinakailangan keep it balanced lang. And lastly, syempre, kinakailangan palagi nitong obserbahan ng production upang ma-maintain ang quality para sa final product. Next slide po. Next slide. May pagkakaiba ang production planning and control. Halimbawa, yung production planning, ito yung nag-i-ensure ng kalidad and good quality ng mga raw materials sa mga gagamiting equipment at na-available during sa production. Ini-ensure nito na ang equipment ay nasa kalidad at naayon sa inaasahang demand at all times. Yung production control naman is nagre-regulate ng mga inventory. Sila yung mga nagme-maintain and nagche-check ng inventory. Sila din yung nag-organize ng mga production schedule. Halimbawa, kung ang raw materials ay malapit na mag-expired or malapit na silang hindi magamit, ay inaayos nila ito upang magamit na agad-agad or mauna sa production para mapakinabangan pa. Lahat ng mga bagong materials ay hinuhuli nila dahil na mahaba pa ang lifespan nito. Kaya yun medyo hinuhuli. So hindi pa sila ubos, hindi pa sila gagamitin, pero once na naubos na ang material, syempre gagamit na sila agad. And lastly, sila din yung nagpa-process ng mga resources sa production. So in conclusion, the production planning ay tumutukoy sa pag-a-assign ng plano at layunin para sa production, habang yung production control ay tumutukoy sa pagpapanatili at pagpapatupad ng mga plano sa araw-araw na operasyon. Even though magkaiba sila ng layunin at sektor, mahalaga ang both concept upang matiyak na ang effective na pamamahala at pagpapaunlad ng isang production sa isang negosyo. Next slide po. For operation scheduling naman is about the following sequential operation. Sinisigurado na ang operation scheduling ay maging maayos yung plano at ma-organize ang pagkakasunod ng time in production. Dito din malalaman or makita kung kailan dapat gawin yung isang produkto. Mabibigay ng kinakailangan na time para sa kakulangan ng mga material. Ang operation scheduling ay nagkakaroon ng sistema and safety sa pagpaplano ng mga gagawin na magre-resulta na mabilis at effective na production. So, yung operation planning is nangyayari allocate. Yung allocate is yung part na paghahati ng mga activities sa tauhan na specific in their profession and location of resources for production. Nangyayari ang operation planning in short term lang. Pinaka-objective ng operation planning is mag-decide ng the best way to allocate of labor and equipment at makita ang balance between time and use of limited resources ng organization. Next slide po. Meron ding 3 important tasks to perform in operation scheduling. Una dito is yung allocate resources. Nabanggit ko na siya kanina. So, next one is the workforce scheduling. Ito yung scheduling ng pagkakasunod-sunod ng trabaho para sa mga empleyado in the production. By the help of workforce scheduling, ay mas maisasaayos nito ang scheduling batay sa kinakailangan ng operasyon. Next one is yung production equipment scheduling. Importante ito para makapagpahinga ang isang equipment at hindi na lang palagi ito nagagamit. At para humaba rin ang buhay ng isang equipment. Kunyari may dalawang equipment na parehas lang ang purpose. Pinibigyan natin ito ng time. Kunwari, yung isa is pang umaga, is yung isa ay pang gabi. So, nagkakaroon ito ng rest time, yung equipment. So, there are also 3 main objectives in production scheduling. First is ang importance of delivery on time, making sure na hindi delay and delivers exact time. Kinakailangan din na bawasan ang machine job time para mas tumagal pa ang buhay ng machinery at magamit pa in good condition. Importante din na ang proper and utilization of work center dahil ito yung may alam kung sino ang dapat magtrabaho or saan sila dapat magtrabaho at at kailan sila dapat magtrabaho based sa kanilang role at oras ng trabaho. Next slide po. Operation scheduling have a principle. Una is palaging mapanatili ang continuous job scheduling. Next is yung the end-to-end completion job. Ito yung process na ine-execute from start to finish. Remove the bottleneck. Ito naman yung mga sagabal na plano, kinakailangan ng tanggalin yan. Ensuring the feedback as make adjustment. Ito naman yung always reflect on the feedback and always make adjustments on your product that you're making. Set skill work. Ito naman yung kinakailangan ng skill ng bawat workforce accurate sa kanilang position. Enhance the off-product and process. Scheduling helps in capacity planning as to reduce bottleneck. Scheduling helps in schemingly order production based on due date. And lastly, scheduling helps in sequencing of various job work. Next slide po. Workplace planning. Ito naman is yung ini-ensure yung optimum productivity by proper utilization of limited resources, pati na rin ng mga properties sa iba't ibang work centers. Ang goal nito is gumawa ng environment na prone in foster collaboration, innovation, and effectivity. Efficiency, habang ina-optimize yung resources at sinisigurado ang positive experience ng bawat employee. Main objective ng workplace planning and control is always prioritize various job order. Ini-involve nito by assisting and ranking tasks or project based on their importance. Dapat inuuna ang mga urgent and yung mga product na makakaapekto sa organization goals ng isang company. Objective din ng workforce planning is ma-prioritize ang pagre-record ng data na related sa process of quantities. Providing status of workplace order and control panel. Mag-record ng output data para ma-monitor ang capacity control. And lastly, mag-provide ng measurement of efficiency and productivity sa workplace. Next slide po. For my next topic is waiting line management. Lahat naman tayo is nakakaranas ng waiting line problem. Mostly our everyday life, especially doon sa mga bangko and sa iba pang mga establishmento. So, ang waiting line management is the solution on that problem. Pero ano nga ba yung waiting line management muna? So, waiting line management or known as queue management is the process and organizing and controlling the customer or visit flow. Kumbaga ito yung pagmamanage ng pila upang hindi magkaroon ng mahabang waiting time ang customer at para ma-enhance ang customer satisfaction. Next page po. Sa waiting line management, merong two types of population scenario. The definite and infinite population. Yung finite population scenario is yun yung fixed na. Limited lang yung size ng customer na bumibisita sa service counter. For example, the number of people in the library or number of flavor of cakes they will sell or and yes. Sa ano naman is the infinite population theory is the scenario na predicted na ang customer na pupunta. Either it's subtracted or added. At hindi maaapektuhan ang workability ng isang establishment. For example, customer in a bank, a waiting line in a passport, waiting line sa pagguha ng card tulad ng PhilHealth, Pag-ibig at lalong-lalo sa mga NBA clearance. Hindi talaga predicted ang pupuntang tao. Next slide po. Ang queue management is benefiting and in our organization by improving efficiency, eliminating logistic requirements like floor place, customer traffic, and physical queue. Nag-generate din ito ng variable insight for the user's data. Malaga ito dahil nagkakaroon ito for decreasing the customer wait and service time. May mga common queue situation na nare-resolve ba ang queuing system. Like in a service in supermarket or bank. Waiting for results of computer and waiting line for buses and computer rail. Pero mga typical queue system, ito. Yung arrival process, service mechanism, and lastly, yung queue characteristics. Yung arrival process is yung, as the name suggests, on arrival process, na pwede ng iba't ibang ang component ng customer arrival. Pwede silang by batch, a couple, maramihan, or single lang. It could be infinite or finite population. Yung service mechanism naman is yung availability of resources for customer. For example, is yung kunwari papasok yung customer sa restaurant tapos ibibigay ng waiter yung menu and after that mag-order sila, ibigay ng waiter yung order sa cook and then ihahanda na yung pagkain and then pakain and then magbabayad na sila. So, ganon. Yung ganitong mechanism ay nagpapakita kung paano mangyayari ang mga hakbang na binibigay ng serbisyo ng isang establishment. Next is the queue characterism pala. Ito yung first came, first serve na system. Makakita ito sa mga establishment tulad ng nasabi ko kanina, bangko. For example, is yung may customer na papasok in a bank at maghihintay sila in line habang sila yung tatawagin ng teller. Kapag sila na yung susunod sa linya, papasok na sila sa counter and then magtatanong or magta-transaction and then done. Lalabas na sila. Ang ganitong sistema ay nagpapakita ng pagkakasunod-sunod at organisasyon na pag-accept ng mga customer and that's the queue characterism. Overall, by implementing effective waiting time strategy can improve the customer satisfaction, mapapataas ang operational efficiency at magkakaroon ng advantage sa competitive marketing. Prioritizing customer needs and expert experience throughout the service delivery process is the key to build a long-lasting relationship and foster loyalty. Done na po ko. Next reporter po.
Maintenance policy and repair. First, maintenance. Maintenance is defined as a process in which working condition of plant or machinery is maintained at the optimum level as to give maximum output. Maintenance, when we say maintenance, ito ay pinapanatili ang kondisyon ng mga makinarya para walang maging aberya at maayos ang mga ginagawa at mabigyan ng mataas na output in the end of the day. Next naman, maintenance management. Maintenance management is a process where available resources are regulated in manner that plant and machinery can perform at specific levels. Ito ang mga nagpapanatili or nagkocontrol ng mga makinarya sa mga kanilang tungkulin or particular tasks. Ito na, the main objectives of the maintenance management are follows. Ito naman yung mga main objective na sinusunod pagdating sa maintenance. First is minimum level of production, loss and minimum incidence of breakdown. Sa madaling salita, mababang antas o pagkabawas o productions and some part may nangyayaring pagkasira. Parang ganun. Then minimum level of wastage or sa madaling salita rin, mababang antas ng pagkakasaya. Third, optimum usage of maintenance equipment and personnel. Ito yung sinasabi na mababang antas ng pagkakasaya. Dito pinapakita pala ang pagpamanatili ng mga kagamitan or mga tauhan dito sa may optimum usage maintenance and personnel. Next, quality of product is improved. So, sa madaling salita naman, alam naman natin ito na dapat yung mga product natin is quality and maximum level na magandang kalidad ng mga produkto. Next po, next slide. Planning and scheduling. The maintenance department is responsible with planning and scheduling of maintenance in line with the requirement and expectation of the organization. Planning and scheduling needs to ensure that business as usual is not disturbed. Sa planning and scheduling naman, the maintenance department sila yung responsable sa pagpaplano at schedule sa pagpapanatili ng naayon sa pangangailangan ng organization. Ang pagpaplan at scheduling ay para walang maabala at maayos at magandang gawa sa business. Ito naman yung mga key points to plan maintenance. First, identify the equipment for maintenance and technique for maintenance. So dito, dapat alam mo ang mga equipment for maintenance at ang mga pamaraan or technique para sa maintenance. Sa second naman, categorize maintenance into routine, priority, and emergency. Yun, example dito, kapag may problems, need to fix it at gawan ng paraan. Yun. Then, plan maintenance considering cost, time, space, etc. etc. So, dapat naka-plan ang pamagkuwanatili at dapat isinasaalang ang gastos at oras. Next naman, material planning for maintenance requirements. Dapat nakaplano rin ang mga material para sa maayos na pagkapapanatili nito. Then budget time and money requirements. So dito sa mga planning and scheduling, need rin ng budgeting kung magkakaroon man ng gastusin at kung magkakaroon man ng lalabas na pera sa pagmamaraan nito. Next po. Maintenance planning and scheduling. Next po. Tapos na po yan. Next po, next slide. Ito naman po yung maintenance can be described as follows. Ito po ay to optimize usage, plant, and machinery and tools. So, sa madaling salita, na kailangan ma-optimize ang mga plant and machinery and tools. Second, to optimize usage manpower and maintenance. Ibig sabihin, yung mga manggagawa man ay kailangan rin mayroon na sapat na kakayahan mag-maintenance or mag-optimize ng mga ginagawa nila. Then, third, to ensure smooth production flow. Next slide po. Quality. Quality has different meaning to different people. For example, in automobile industry, quality means car with no defects and works is smoothly. Smoothly. Yun, may mga iba't ibang example, may iba't ibang meaning ang quality in comes sa industry ng sakyan. For example, kalidad or ang kalidad ng sakyan ng mga walang depekto ay gumagana ng maayos. Ito ay masasabi nating quality. Ang quality ay ang higit na tinitingnan ng mga customers. So kung kalidad ang iyong produkto, babalik-balikan yan ng mga customer because it's quality. Ito naman po yung quality involves meeting exceeding of customer expectation. So to summarize, quality is first justifying customer divine standard. So ito yung mga meet customer needs. So basically, matugunan natin ang mga needs ng customer. Kailangan ma-meet natin na yung kanilang expectations. Meet customer needs. Then third, meets or exceed customer expectation. So madaling salita, na-expect ng mga customer ay kailangan rin natin ma-meet or ma-exceed. Next is satisfy future needs and requirements of customer. So ito yung makikita natin na kung satisfy ba yung mga customer sa mga requirements na kailangan or may matugunan natin ng mga needs ng customer, kailangan ma-meet natin yung kanilang mga expectation. Then quality definition. Yan, next slide po. Yan, according to industry user, quality has many definitions. Some of them are as follows. Customer-oriented industry, meeting customer expectation. So according to industry na nakatuon sa customer, matugunan ang expectation ng customer. Next, manufacturing industry, meeting technical specification and working with no defects. Yun, industry manufacturing comes sa technical na detalye at walang mga sira or defekto. Product-oriented industry. Product has additional value compared to similar products available in the market. Industry na nakatuon sa produkto, so may iba't ibang case or case ng product. So kung ang product ay maganda rin mataas na din ang value ng price. Dito yun sa value-oriented industry. Product is perfect combination of features and delivering price band. Next po. Next slide. Quality control. Atol of changeless. Accordingly, customer look at quality different areas as follows. First, airline industry on time, low cost, and comfortable. So, madaling salita na pagbawas ng depekto ay pagmahantong sa mas less variable. Parang mga ganun. The next, railways on time, low cost, secure, and safe. Yun. So, madaling salita rin na yung railways on time, low cost, secure, and safe. Ayun naman ang mga gusto ng customer and tinitignan nila. Mababang presyo, then on time nagagawa and secure and safe ang kanilang kung ano man ang kanilang papagawan. And postal service, accurate delivery and cost effective. So, accurate ng delivery and cost effective. Next po slide. Quality control technique. Quality control. The quality of product or service is ensuring a proper designing process is followed. The designing process needs to be backed by appropriate process design supported by a sustainable technology which conforms to requirements of customer. So, the quality of the product or service ay kailangan tinitiyak kung tama ba ang proseso ng pagdisenyo or sumusunod. So that comes sa designing process, ito ay supported by a sustainable technology kung ito ay requirements ng mga customer. Next po. Ito naman yung mga implement stringent quality control that following benefits are possible. Ito yung mga benefits na magiging possible. First, reducing product defects lead to less variable costs associated with labor and material. Ang pagbawas ng mga depekto sa product ay umahantong sa mas less variable na gastos sa pagbawas ng material. reduction wastage, scrap, and pollution. Sa madaling salita, pagbawas ng scrap at pollution. Third, ability to produce quality products over longer period of time. So, dapat na yung ginagawa natin ay di kalidad ng product at mas naglalas sa mahabang panahon. Ayun ang mas magugustuhan ng mga customer. Then, with quality, maintenance needs for inspection reduces, leading to decrease in maintenance costs. The quality of maintenance, ang mga pangangailangan para sa inspection ay base na humantong sa pagbawas ng gastos. Large pool or satisfied customer. Increase employee motivation at ma-compliance sa quality of produkto. Dito pala yung the quality of maintenance ay kailangan masatisfied yung customer. Next, increase employee motivation and awareness of quality. Dito naman yung increase of employee motivation at umalayan sa quality ng produkto. Kumbaga, mabigyan sila ng sapat na kaalaman sa mga quality ng kanilang para maging aware sila. Then increase in productivity and overall efficiency. So, pag-control ng kalidad ay kailangan ng malawak na paggamit for to satisfied method. Kumbaga, yung productivity at overall efficiency. Next slide po. Quality control techniques, statistical quality control techniques. Ito, quality control techniques are requires extensive usage of statistical methods that advantage of statistical analysis as follows. First, statistical tools are automated and therefore require less manual intervention needing cost and reduction. Yun, so panahon ngayon, gumagamit na tayo ng mga automated na machine na hindi na ginagamitan ng mga tao para sa less manual o parang leading to cost reduction, kumbaga mas mababadali at mas mababadali ang gawain. Statistical tools work on model that are very useful when testing requires instruction of products. So dito, binibase lang ang mga model na ginagamit pagdating sa mga statistical tools na kailangan is yung model ay nag-work and then nag-last siya and nagte-testing siya requires for destruction of products. Statistical quality tools can broadly be classified into following categories. Ito madali lang naman to. First, statistical tools are automated, therefore cause less manual intervention leading to reduction. Parang inulit lang yung quality control. Parang yun, mas sa panahon ngayon kasi may dalawang part ng manual tsaka automated. So, pag yung sinabi ng automated, hindi ito ginagamitan ng tao. Pag manual pa rin is ito yung may tao pa rin na gumagamit. Yun lang. Then, last, statistical tools work on model DAS are very useful with starting external products. Parang yun, sinabi ko na kanina, yung mga model na kailangan ay ginagamitan ng statistical tools when the useful where testing requires for the products. Next po. Next reporter na po yata.
Reliability and redundancy. Reliability is about how consistently something perform over time. So, ang explanation dito, ang reliability ay katiyakan sa isang bagay, proseso o tao. Kapag sinabi natin ang isang bagay ay reliable, ibig sabihin ay maaari nating asahan naggagana o magbibigay ng parehong resulta sa iba't ibang pagkakataon. Ang reliability ay mahalaga sa maraming larangan tulad ng teknolohiya at negosyo dahil ito ay nagbibigay seguridad sa mga resulta at desisyon na gagawin natin. Meron tayo dito important characteristic of reliability. Meron tayong dalawang example which is operational conditions and within a known set of parameters. Ang ibig sabihin ng operational condition, ang operational condition ay tumutukoy sa mga kondisyon o kalagayan sa loob ng isang sistema. Nagtatakda ng paraan kung paano ito gumagana o kung ano ang epekto nito sa pagganap ng isang proseso o produkto. Ito ay maaaring magbago depende sa iba't ibang mga kadahilanan tulad ng panahon, temperatura, presyo o iba pang mga variables. Ang pag-unawa ng operational condition ay mahalaga upang masigurado ang tamang pag-andar at kaligtasan ng mga proseso. Ang within known set of parameters, ito ay mahalaga sa maraming larangan tulad ng technology at negosyo dahil ito ay nagbibigay daan sa paglalarawan, pagsusuri at pagkontrol sa mga proseso o range ng halaga ng isang bagay. Meron tayo dito tatlong examples of parameters. Let's say na meron tayong smartphones na reliable tayo sa battery kung alam natin kung paano siya kabilis magkaroon ng battery life and kung paano siya kabilis maubos. Ang parameter 1, charging cycle. You measure how many times you can fully charge or discharge. Yun nga yung sinabi ko. Parameter 2, ang temperature naman. You assess how the battery perform in extreme temperatures, both hot and cold. So, yung temperature ng isang cellphone, kung nasa malamig ka bang panahon o nasa mainit, alam mo kung kung gaano lang ang capacity ng isang produkto na yun. Parameter 3, usage pattern. So, dito sa usage pattern, na-observe natin yung different usage or scenario ng paggamit natin ng isang cellphone. Kunyari, pagbabrowse natin or pag-gaming, video streaming, kung gaano, yun nga, kabilis yung battery life. Pag yun yung ginagamit natin mga application. Next, yung failure, number 2. This highlights non-performance of product system within known set of parameters. Ang ibig sabihin nito, ang non-performance ng isang produkto o sistema ay tumutukoy sa hindi pagtupad nito sa mga inaasahang resulta o pag-andar. Ito ay maaaring mangyari kapag ang isang produkto o sistema ay hindi gumagana ng wasto dahil nakakamit ang mga layunin nito o pagdudulot ng mga problema sa halip na solusyon. Ang halimbawa dito, ang isang sasakyan ay hindi umiilaw sa oras ng pagsindi nito ay may non-performance o isang computer na software na palaging nagkakaroon ng mga bug o error sa paggamit ay may tuturing na hindi paggamit sa tamang pag-andar. Ang non-performance ay maaaring magdulot ng pagkabigo at pagkakalito at dissatisfactory o karanasan sa mga gumagamit o mamimili. Next natin ang normal operating condition. Ang normal operating condition ay isang paggamit ng produkto na normal mo lang siya nagagamit. Kunyari sa mga cellphone, yun, normal, gumagana siya kung ano yung purpose talaga ng isang bagay. Kunyari, application, ganyan. Normal mo siya nagagamit, hindi siya nagbabag, nag-error. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng normal operation condition. And number 4, reliability leads to profitability. So dito, meron akong dalawang sample. Ang reliability ang ibig sabihin pala nito, reliability leads to probability. Ang inherent reliability ay tumutukoy sa likas na kakayahan ng isang bagay o sistema na magtatagumpay na magbigay ng tumpok na resulta sa isang tiyak na sitwasyon o kondisyon. Ito ay hingil sa kapasidad ng isang bagay na gumagana ng wasto o maaasahan batay sa kanyang sariling katangian o estruktura. Halimbawa, ang isang sasakyan na mayroong matibay na makina at maayos na sistema o suspension ay inherent reliability. Sa pagbigay ng hindi maayos na daan. Ang achieve reliability naman, wait lang. Pa-next pala nung slides. Ayan yung dalawang sinasabi ko. So, yung achieve reliability. Ang achieve reliability ay tumutukoy sa antas o kalidad na reliability na naaabot o nakamit sa isang produkto, serbisyo o sistema ng isang particular na panahon o sitwasyon. Ito ay base sa resulta ng pagsusuri o pagsubok o paggamit sa tunay na mundo. Halimbawa, kung isang computer software ay nakakamit ang 99% na reliability rate batay sa pagsubok o field, ito ay tinatawag na achieve reliability para sa partikular na kondisyon. Ibig sabihin nito, ang achieve reliability ay isang tunay na pagmamatuwid ng kakayahan o umiwas ng mga aberya sa pagkakamali at magbigay ng tamang pag-andar sa aktuwal na paggamit. Next slide po. Redundancy. Redundancy is defined as additional information, resources, and time to existing product or system than required for its optimum performance. Ang ibig sabihin ng redundancy ay tumutukoy sa pagkakaroon ng labis na sangkap o aparato, mekanismo sa isang sistema upang mapanatili ang tamang pag-andar kahit may mga aberya o pagkakamali sa simpleng salita. Ito ay pagkakaroon ng backup o pangalawang opsyon na maaaring gamitin kapag mayroong pagkakamali o nasirang bahagi ng sistema. Sa pamamagitan at pagkakaroon ng redundancy, ang mga ito ay maaaring masigurado patuloy na pagtatrabaho sa kabila ng hindi inaasahang pangyayari. Resource redundancy. Ang ibig sabihin ng resource redundancy o redundansya in Tagalog sa mga pagkukunan o tumutukoy na pagkakaroon ng labis na pagkukunan o sangkap. Ito yung mga backup product or mga resources kung saan kapag nagkaroon ka ng kakulangan sa supply, meron kang resources na papagkukunan. And information redundancy. Sa maraming kaso, ang information redundancy ay ginagamit upang mapanatili pagkakaroon ng impormasyon sa kabila ng posibilidad na pagkakamali o pagkawala o aberya sa sistema. Ang halimbawa dito sa ang mga backup computer files. Usually, meron tayong mga backup na computer files. Minsan gumagamit tayo ng mga USB, ganyan, para kapag nagka-error ang isang sistema o product, meron tayong mga information redundancy na magagamit or backup. Yan. Next natin is yung number 3, time redundancy. Halimbawa dito, sa isang proyekto or mahalagang deadline, nagkakaroon tayo ng time redundancy ay maaaring mahulugan sa paglalaan o karagdagang araw o linggo sa layunin makumpleto ang gawaing bagong takdang petsa. So ito yung parang scheduling lang ng isang bagay na ginagawa natin. Next naman natin, next slide po. On-demand manufacturing. What is on-demand manufacturing? Ang on-demand manufacturing ay isang paraan ng paggawa ng produkto kung saan ang mga bahagi o produkto ay ginagawa lamang kapag mayroon hiling mula sa mga mamimili sa halip na magkaroon ng malaking production ng mga produkto nakaimbak sa advanced o on-demand manufacturing ay gumagamit ng technology tulad ng 3D printing. So dito, hindi na kailangan ng malawakang production. So yung mga example products dito is yung meron tayong 3D printing o CNC machining upang makagawa ng mga bahaging produkto base sa gusto lang na kagustuhan ng mga mamimili. Next natin, next slide po. Ayan. At ayan yung mga advantage of on-demand manufacturing. Meron tayong level playing field, testing the markets, no need to markdowns, no credit risk. Kasi yun nga, hindi natin kailangan ng malawakang production. So, hindi natin kailangan na maraming task na gagawin katulad nito mga nandito. Yun nga, sa bottom line nito is that the manufacturing is better than a financial, environmental, also known as operational point of view. So, next slide po. Operational transparency. What is operational transparency? Operational transparency ay isang kumpanya sa pagsasagawa ng on-demand manufacturing o ang pagpapamahala o nagpapakita ng isang operational transparency sa pamamagitan ng paglilinaw sa lahat ng mga kawani o yung mga trabahador natin, pati na sa mga paggawa ng proseso ng produksyon. Ipinapakita natin na yung kumpanya kumpanya natin sa mga empleyado, kung paano yung mga hakbang o mga pagtungo mula sa pagtanggap ng mga order, halaga ng pagdadala ng produkto sa mga mamimili. Ayan. Next po. And meron tayo dito dalawang example ng operational transparency. Meron tayong people hate to wait. Isa tong study mula sa Harvard Business Review na ito yung statement nila na pag sinabi natin people hate to wait, sa operational transparency, parang ang example dito is sa isang business or isang company kapag ang example is bibit na sa isa kang mall or isang establishment na nag-order ka, kunyari food in restaurant yan, 10 minutes wait or Jollibee ganyan, sasabihan ka ng makakapag-wait po ba kayo ng ganito? So people hate to wait kasi hindi nila nakikita kung paano yung process na ginagawa ng isang shop or company. So yun yung isang study na people hate to wait. So the next one is people love to interact. So ito isang study is kabaliktaran ng people hate to wait. Meron dito na people love to interact kasi mas nakikita nila yung pagpa-process ng orders nila or yung paggawa ng isang proseso ng product nila. Ang isang example dito is yung kunyari online shopping. Ang Shopee, ganyan, or Amazon, nakikita natin kung nasaang location na ba siya. Yun yung yun yung people love to interact kasi mas may interaction sila sa mga bagay na gusto nilang makita, ganyan. Next slide po. Ito, operational transparency pa rin. Operational transparency has a huge impact on the satisfaction levels as well as employees. So, how to implement operational transparency? Meron tayong ditong open communication, keep track of progress, explain decision, listen to feedback, document everything, teach and train, and lead by examples. So, yun yung mga key para ma-implement natin yung isang operational transparency. And ang limits to operational transparency, meron din tayo mga limitasyon ng operational transparency kasi hindi naman natin kailangan ng unang pagiging labis transparent maaaring magdulot ng pagkalito kapag masyado tayong open. Ayun nga, operational transparency. Masyado tayong open sa lahat ng bagay. So, kailangan din natin ng limit. Kumbaga, ang plano ng negosyo o personal na impormasyon ng individual, hindi natin kailangan ipanundakan sa publiko yun. So, kailangan din natin maging aware and magkaroon ng limitasyon sa pag-ooperate ng isang shop or isang company or product naman. Yan, next page po. So, dito yung reference na binigay sa amin ni Sir. Ito po yung link. Ang title is Understanding Production and Operational Management po. So, next po. Next slide po. Ayan, thank you. Tapos, ito po yung mga members namin, Group 6. Baltasar, James, Chavez, Narcisco, Magbanma, Marvin, Ramosa, John Lawrence, Saliwan, Daniel, John J, Santiago, Mark, Chris, and Michaela and Villasper po. Yan lang po. Thank you.